Welcome to Posidonia 2026, and I'm here on the stand with Metkel Yohannes, who is the Chief Portfolio Officer of Surveyotech, and we have been talking a lot actually lately about risk management. So I've got a few questions to put to Metkel. So Metkel, I'm going to ask you the first question. What does operational resilience actually mean from a fleet cost and performance perspective?
I think the industry's historically thought about safety and servicing in quite binary terms. So either something goes wrong or it doesn't, but that's not really how commercial reality works. So operational resilience to me is around three things: uptime, predictability and cost control. And the reason those three things matter to procurement managers specifically is all three are measurable. You can model them, you can budget against them, and you can manage them. But only if you treat servicing as a system rather than a series of one-off events. What changed isn't the financial exposure, that's always been calculable. What's changed is that detentions have become statistically normal. So over the past 5 years, we've seen a 70% rise in detentions. That's 1 in every 7 ocean-going ships projected to face detention over the next 36 months. And that shifts the conversation entirely. This is no longer a tail risk. It's a predictable operational liability that every owner and operator needs to factor into their planning annually.
How are pressures like tariffs, cost inflation and decarbonisation influencing procurement decisions, and what risks does that create?
These pressures are real and they're compounding. When budgets are getting squeezed from multiple directions at once, and right now they are, so between cost inflation, uncertainty on future fuels, and ongoing sort of disruption from tariffs, the natural response is to look for savings wherever you can. And unfortunately, servicing is an easy target because of the consequence of cutting it isn't immediately visible. The danger is that budget pressure creates this illusion of control. The paperwork looks fine, the certificates are current, but when the price becomes a default differentiator, approvals don't tell you about the quality of the work, the inspection that's been carried out, or whether the work's actually done to the standard that the paperwork suggests it has been. You haven't reduced risk at that point. What you've done is you've just delayed it until it surfaces. And when a PSC inspection takes place, it surfaces very, very quickly. So the risk isn't just a short-term sort of financial one. Short-term procurement decisions are creating sort of long-term exposure risk that isn't showing up quite yet on anybody's risk register.
What's the difference between managing cost and managing risk in today's environment?
They sound like the same thing. In practice, they're quite different. And the best operators sort of understand that distinction quite clearly. Cost management is reactive and transactional. You get a bill, you pay it, and you move on. It's an incomplete picture because it doesn't account for what you're not spending or what might cost you later on. Risk management, on the other hand, is a different lens in its entirety. So what is a full financial exposure? And if something does go wrong, what is that preventative cost? And when you frame it in that way, the maths changes dramatically. Fire safety and life-saving appliances accounts for about 40% of all detainable deficiencies consistently across all MOU regimes. And these aren't random failures. These are predictable, they're preventable, and the operators are getting this right. They've made that mental shift. They plan maintenance proactively, they're tracking compliance ahead of time, and they treat their safety partners as risk managers. So not just somebody who shows up when something's gone wrong.
Why are we seeing a shift toward longer-term safety partnerships?
It's a natural response to a market that's genuinely becoming more complex. That complexity isn't going away. Compliance requirements across a vessel's 35-year life cycle, the variations by flag, by class, by vessel type, it's a lot to track with that continuity of support. There's a growing recognition that your safety partner is a commercial variable. Who you choose affects your risk profile, your inspection outcomes, your insurance premiums, your charterer reputation. The conversation shifts from who's cheapest to who gives us the best risk-adjusted outcome. Safety providers are asked to be risk partners more and more these days. The ones that can deliver that are going to be very difficult to displace moving forward.
Thank you very much. That was Metkel Yohannes, who is Chief Portfolio Officer for Surveyotech, talking about risk management.